Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. If it's your first time watching, you're welcome. If it's not your first time watching, you're also welcome. We love it so much. So today we are going to be attempting a bridal makeup tutorial for the first time on this channel. So I really hope the tips and techniques that will come out of this video will be very helpful to you. So stay tuned, okay? And you see that big red subscribe button that's looking at you, just click on it, and the small bell that appears when you click the button, just so you receive a notification whenever we upload a brand new video. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up down below. Leave your thoughts, ideas, corrections, recommendations, suggestions, and questions. We'll be reading all of them, but don't forget to leave your comments. If you'd like to follow us for more information on makeup career, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok, Facebook, and Twitter. They're all at Austine, and the model's hand will be right here in the middle of the screen in case you want to check her out. Alright guys, let's get started. Alright guys, we're going to be starting off with the eyebrows as usual, and right now I'm just brushing through the eyebrows with a spoolie before I start outlining. So to outline, I'm going to be using the Davis No. 3 eye pencil. So when outlining your eyebrows, start from the inner corner going towards the outer corner, just right above the bridge of your nose. Draw that line with very light strokes and follow the exact shape of your eyebrows. Make sure your eyebrows are groomed very well before you start outlining so you attain a perfect shape, and please don't overline your eyebrows. And then to line the top part of the eyebrows, give a bit of space at the inner corner and start off a bit farther from where you started outlining at the bottom and draw that line towards the outer corner of the eyes, and then you can connect it at the lower part. So today we are going to be doing the lip gloss technique, and take a bit of lip gloss at the back of your hand, dip your spoolie into the lip gloss, and then use that to brush through the eyebrows after outlining. This helps the eyebrows to stay in place so you can fill in. Then after you finish brushing through the eyebrows, press it in. Just use your finger or the back of your spoolie to press it in so it stays in place. And before you fill in, make sure that the lip gloss is completely dried out first before you start filling in. And since we're doing a bridal makeup tutorial today, you want the eyebrows to look as natural as possible. So the technique for filling in is thin hair-like strands going upwards throughout the eyebrows. And to emphasize on that, we are going to be using concealer later on, but fill in using thin hair-like strands going upwards to achieve that natural look on the eyebrows, most especially at the inner corner. So next I'm going to take the Elegant Pro Concealer in the shade Toffee and a flat brush, and I'm going to emphasize on the hair-like structures on the eyebrows. Now this is a technique that you really don't have to do, but if you want to try it out, it works very well. You can try it out. So I'm going to grab that concealer and using tapping motions, create some more hair-like strands on the eyebrows. Normally I would do this at the inner corner of the eyebrows only, but I tried this pattern of brows a couple of videos back and it really turned out perfectly. So since we're doing a bridal makeup tutorial today, I thought this brow would be really good for this video, so I decided to try it out. So to clean up the eyebrows, I'm using the same concealer that I used to add those structures on the eyebrows, which is the Elegant Pro Concealer in the shade Toffee, and a flat brush to clean. So when doing this, if you made mistakes on the eyebrows, you can decide to alter the shape of the eyebrows by using the concealer to cover up that mistake. Or if the eyebrows were perfect and you just wanted to clean it up and make it look neat, just follow the exact shape of the eyebrow which you drew and clean it out completely. For this step, use a concealer that is 2 shades lighter than your skin tone, and be sure to drag the concealer downwards so the concealer does not crease on the eyelid. To line the upper part of the eyebrows, I would recommend you use a foundation so it's more easier for you to blend in when doing the whole face if you're a beginner. But if you still want to go on with concealer, you can use a concealer that matches the skin tone perfectly or is as close to the skin tone of the model you're working on. And don't use too much product when lining the eyebrows. Make sure to blend it out completely and follow the exact shape of the eyebrows which you drew. Use a flat brush for this and not a fluffy brush so the eyebrows turn out very perfect. Also, don't forget to go over the edges with your finger so as to blend everything in and make it look smooth. Moving on to the face, we are going to be starting off with our Kiss Beauty Foundation Primer before we do any other thing, because not to prime is a crime. We all know Nikki tutorials, right? Love her the absolute most. So to apply, I'm going to be using a brush for this, and I'm going to concentrate this primer mostly around the T-zone area, and I'm using tapping motions before blending in around the edges, as you can see, because on your wedding day you are most likely to sweat. Yes, I think because of the activities like, you know, dancing and all that, so you want to prevent this sweat from breaking out and ruining your makeup. So you're going to apply that product on the T-zone area mostly, and then blend it in around the remaining parts of the face. Use tapping motions. Whichever primer you're using, make sure you massage it onto the skin. Allow it to set first before doing your foundation. Next, we are going to be using the shade Highlighter from this 10-in-1 Beauty Powder Palette to set the under eyes, bridge of the nose, around the mouth and the forehead. To do this, I'm using a fluffy brush. You can use a finishing powder as an alternative for this, but this helps to mattify the face some more, and it also helps to match the face with the neck when you're done with the whole makeup. I don't really know what brand this powder palette is from, but I just happened to find it in my kit and we decided to use it, but it worked very well, so I'm grateful. And then I just use my setting spray to lock everything in place. And then after waiting a few moments for everything to dry out completely, we are moving on to the foundation. And for foundation today, I'm using the Mary Kay Full Coverage Foundation in the shade 605. Yes, we know we've used this foundation a lot on this channel. It's just the perfect shade that matches. You know, when you find something that matches your skin tone, you're going to cling to it. You're going to hold on to it. It's not really easy to find the perfect shade of foundation. Anyway, we are going to be using that today. And my pattern of application these days is using a brush to apply first before using a beauty blender to blend it out later on. It's a good technique. You can try it out if you want to, but the foundation you're using should match the face completely, and make sure your beauty blender is damp before you start blending the foundation into the skin. Don't forget to blend in your neck as well, and make sure you don't use too much product for this. Just one dash should be enough for one part of the face and vice versa. And then when it comes to blending around your forehead region, start from above the eyebrows going upwards towards the hairline, so you avoid using too much product there and it doesn't appear like the bride is having a mask on that day. And then around the nose region as well, don't use fresh product on the nose. Make sure you use the remaining product on your beauty blender to blend it in, because the nose is kind of textured and it can break out easily. You can choose to use a brush for your foundation, but all the same, your brush should be very soft. To highlight, I'm going to be using the Elegant Pro Concealer in the shade Toffee, the same one I've been using throughout. And this concealer is kind of thick, so I'm going to be using little products. I'm going to highlight under the eyes, the bridge of the nose, the forehead, and around the mouth, just the usual way we highlight. And I'm going to blend that in. To blend, you can choose to to use the same beauty blender you've been using throughout this makeup routine, or you can choose to switch in between your products. You can also use a brush as well, but for me I'm going to be using my beauty blender, which I'm using throughout, because the excess product in the beauty blender will help spread the concealer and blend it in really nicely. So I'm going to start off with the nose, blend it in, and then I'm going to move to the forehead, blend around the edges before working my way towards the middle of the concealer, so we don't spread the concealer everywhere, but we just blend it in at that particular spot. And then around the mouth. Trick to note, guys, after applying your concealer on the face, don't wait for it to dry out first before you blend it in. Immediately you apply, start blending in so the concealer doesn't dry out, because most of the times the concealer dry out quickly, and if it dries out then you blend it in, it's going to give you that patch, and you wouldn't want that on your wedding day. So I like doing the under eye last, so I can set it in place immediately before we contact any form of creasage. When blending around the under eye, make sure you keep that blend under the eyes only, and then taking it upwards towards the eyebrow. Don't drag that concealer all the way downwards. So to set today, I'm going to be using the black Opal Deluxe setting powder, and of course starting off with the under eye. So to do this, dip your beauty blender or your brush into the setting powder, shake off the excess, and then use it to press on the face. Press it in and blend it in. Just dab it onto the face so it gives you a very smooth texture. Don't drag your beauty blender or your brush around the face, it's going to smudge the makeup look. And when setting, you can decide to set the areas where you highlighted only, or you can set the whole face, but I usually set the areas where I highlighted only because I'll go over the whole face later on with my finishing powder. So I had already started using the powder. Before I forgot that I hadn't showed it to you guys. I'm so sorry. So I'm using the Kiss Beauty loose powder just to go over the whole face, like I said earlier, to blend everything together. I'm also going to take this powder all the way down to the neck, and for the tool I'm using a big fluffy brush for this. Okay, so next I'm going to contour, and to contour I'm using the same palette from earlier on, and I'm using the shade called Contour on the palette, and I'm going to start contouring the cheekbones, and I'm using a round fluffy brush for this. So when you want to contour, use a round fluffy brush like I am doing, and don't use a contour shade that's very dark, or else it's going to look very awful. So to prevent that, use a contour shade that's at most 2 shades darker than your skin tone, just the same way you use the concealer that's 2 shades lighter to highlight, where you're going to use one that's 2 shades darker to contour. So contour the cheekbones first, and then when it comes to forehead contour, the forehead contour makes the sides of the forehead appear smaller or bigger, so it depends on the way you want it. If you want the forehead to appear bigger, contour around the hairline only, but if you want the forehead to appear smaller, drag that contour downwards and blend it in, coming towards the eyebrow region. And then when it comes to the nose contour, the same thing also applies. If you want the nose to appear smaller, bring those contour lines together, and if you want it to appear bigger, take the contour lines a bit apart from each other. And to do this, use a small brush, start from underneath the eyebrows going towards the tip of the nose, and then you can blend it in using a cleaner brush later on. So finally, moving on to the eyeshadow. Before you start applying eyeshadow on your eyelid, you have to make sure that the eyelid has a base for which the eyeshadow is going to stick to. And today I'm using the Elegant Pro Concealer in the shade Toffee, the same one I'll be using all through. There are other eyeshadow bases that you can try out. We have the P. Louise eyeshadow base, the Laura Mercier eyeshadow primer, even a white base. But as a beginner, I would recommend you start off with the same concealer that you use to clean up the eyebrows, so you don't have an ombre right underneath the eyebrows and then on the eyelid. To do this, use a fluffy brush as well, and make sure you tap it in. You can also use your finger to tap the eyeshadow base onto the eyelid to make sure there are no creases right before you start applying your eyeshadow. So we are starting off with the New York Girl palette, and we are using this brown as our first transitioning shade. Now when doing bridal makeup or occasional makeup, any makeup at all, I would recommend brown shades because browns are literally the best for transition, I can tell you, except you want to do all these colorful looks, the rainbow splatter and all that. But for any normal glam eye look, a brown eyeshadow is the best. So I'm going to use that dark brown first, and when doing this, focus the pigments at the outer corner of the eyelid only, blending it to the inner corner, focusing on the upper lid again, and make sure the eyeshadow fades as you approach the inner corner of the eyelid. And to blend, I'm using that orange shade from the New York Girl palette still, and then just at the edge of where you apply your first transition shade is where you're going to blend in using this color, so you can prevent any harsh lines whatsoever on your eyeshadow look. Use a smaller fluffy brush for this as well, and make sure you don't blend too high or too low, but just at the edge of the first transition shade you applied. I have an eyeshadow tutorial on my channel, so you can check it out if you want. I'll also do some more in the future too. Since it's a bridal makeup, I would want the bride's eyes to glitter on that day, and the best shade to use is white. I would recommend white eyeshadow for bridal makeup, or you can use any other ombre, off-white or gold shimmer shining eyes, but just make sure that the eyes shimmer on that day. So first of all, I'm going to draw the cut crease using a white glitter. This shade is actually in the New York Girl palette, but it's white glitter and glitter glue mixed together. So I'm going to use that to cut the crease first, and then I'm using this white shimmer shade still from the New York Girl palette and apply this only on the middle of the eyelid. This will help create that waterfall effect when the bride closes her eyes, and it's also going to give you that halo eye effect. Remember, when doing all this, use a flat brush to draw the cut crease. Use a flat brush, preferably the one you use to clean up the eyebrows. And then when applying eyeshadow as well, you can use the same flat brush because the excess concealer on the brush will help hold down the eyeshadow together. Then don't forget to blend in the edges with the first transitioning shade you used when you're done. So guys, let me tell you, putting eyeliner on top of glitter is not a day's job. It's really hard to put eyeliner on top of glitter because the eyeliner just fades away, the glitter swallows it all up. So if possible, if you can, start with the eyeliner before you apply the glitter on top of the eyelid. So for the lower lash line, you can just use the first transitioning shade you used and use a small brush when you're doing this. Blend it in all the way from the outer corner to the inner corner, and then you can also run a black on the waterline. For this, I'm using the Davis No. 1 eye pencil, and if you're doing this step, guys, keep that black eyeliner on the waterline only. Do not bring it all the way towards the lower lash line because it will ruin everything. And then you can go ahead and apply mascara to coat the lashes and to give them that fluffy pattern. Oh my god, look at those eyes, guys. Look at the eyes. Oh my god, I love the eyeshadow look. Okay, so don't ask me what I'm doing here, guys, because I literally don't know what I am doing. I just decided to be creative. Like, I just wanted to do something for this video, and here's what I came up with. I just sparsely put that white shimmer eyeshadow shade on top of the lashes to, make them shine. Yeah, before applying it to the duo eyelash glue. And then next, you can choose to apply blush just at the edge of the contour to warm everything up and make those cheeks look more prettier when your bride is smiling. Oh my god, I'm feeling this makeup look right now, guys. So I used that blush shade from that same palette earlier on, which I don't know what brand it is from, and then give the face a quick spread of some of the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray before highlighting right now with that same palette. So I'm using a fan brush to do this, and I'm highlighting on the cheek first for that shine, and then a little bit on the chin as well, because on your wedding day you want the bride's face to glow. So you have to make sure to bring that glow to the face. And then I also highlighted on the collarbone because the gown we're going to be putting on later on is, very stylish. And then on the tip of the nose, some more highlights to keep on bringing the glow on this face. So to highlight the cheekbone and the chin, you can use a fluffy brush or a fan brush, and then for the tip of the nose and the cupid's bow, use a smaller brush like this. You can also choose to highlight the brow bone as well if you want to. I highlight the brow bone of when doing my makeup, yeah, so you can just do that. And then for the lips, we are just doing a simple nude because it's your wedding day. You want to do a nude lip, you want to keep that nude lip very glossy and popping. So I'm going to be using the Miss Lovely lipstick in the shade Nude at the middle of the lips first, and then I'm going to line with a brown eyeshadow shade, a much lighter one from the same eyeshadow palette I use for the eyes. And since it's a bridal makeup, if you do the eyes to be very popping, you want to keep the lips nude, or if you do the eyes nude, the lips should be nude as well. Except for the after party look, you can do a popping lip or you can do a bright makeup look, but for the wedding you want to keep that face very nude but glowy. So we are going to give the face the final spritz of setting spray, get changed, and we'll be back for the final look. Meanwhile, thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, you're very welcome. My name is Austine Nuel, and give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Don't forget to comment and subscribe, turn on the post notifications so you won't miss any video when we upload. You can follow us on our social media handles, which will be displayed on the screen at the end of this video. And yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. We'll be seeing you in our next one. Bye.
Anybody way won't fight you, may they come, they already know. I'll be right beside you, like the wall of Jericho. They don't know, they don't know, they don't know what's going on. Monagiso, my baby boo. I'll be a soldier for you. I'm getting better in Kung Fu. You should know I got you, and you don't need to got me too. I'll be right beside you in anything that you do. If you ever need saving, I will be running to you, running.